Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite _UK. Learn how to adapt, lead, and thrive through change with us. Subscribe to our channel.
The announcement that a rugby team is withdrawing from Super Rugby Pacific due to financial difficulties truly brings a sense of sadness. In sports, fans often only see the stadium lights, the thrilling matches, the high-profile contracts, or the moments of victory. Yet behind all that lies an incredibly fragile operational system. Once the financial foundation shakes, everything can change rapidly, the team may dissolve, players can lose direction, fans feel disappointed, and even values built over many years are put to the test. I believe this reflects a very real truth: nothing is permanently stable. No matter how strong a team is, it can face a crisis. No matter how famous a player is, there comes a time when they must start anew in a different environment. And sometimes, these changes don't stem from skill or performance, but from practical factors like finances, strategy, or organizational structure. In Ardie Savea's case, what earns my admiration is not just his talent on the field, but the image of a leader who maintains fighting spirit under any circumstance. The title of World's Best Player 2023 doesn't come by chance.
It is built through persistence, adaptability, sacrifice, and the desire to push one's limits. That's why, when experts discuss that he could fit with the Crusaders, Hurricanes, or any other major team, it seems entirely reasonable. A truly world-class player is always someone every team would want. What catches my attention even more, however, is the debate about where Savea should play on the field. Some say he could play as a number 7, while others jokingly suggest he could be a center or any other position. At first, it may seem like a light-hearted rugby discussion, but thinking more deeply, I see it as proof of the greatest value of a person in today's era: versatility. In the past, people were used to the idea that each individual excelled in only one fixed role. But modern society changes too quickly. Those who can adapt, learn, and take on multiple responsibilities tend to thrive amid change. Ardie Savea is highly valued not only for his technique, but also for his fitness, tactical thinking, and ability to influence multiple areas of the field.
This makes him the kind of athlete any coach would want. I find this a profound lesson for myself. In life, if we rely solely on one skill, we risk being vulnerable when circumstances change. One day, a job may disappear, an environment may shift, or an old opportunity may no longer exist. Without adaptability, we could find ourselves in crisis. I also find it interesting when experts mention the possibility of the Crusaders recruiting Savea. This is a team historically known for intense rivalry with the Hurricanes. In sports, long-standing rivalries create very strong boundaries between teams. Fans sometimes view moving to a rival as unacceptable. Yet from a professional standpoint, it is completely normal. This leads me to reflect on the concept of loyalty. Fans often wish players would dedicate their entire careers to one jersey. But reality is far more complex. Players must consider their future, family, career, and development opportunities.
If their former team can no longer operate stably, seeking a new environment should not be seen as betrayal. Society can sometimes be too harsh on those forced to change choices. We often judge others quickly, forgetting that everyone has their own circumstances. A professional athlete's peak career is short. They cannot survive on emotion alone. They need the right environment to continue growing and maintaining their careers. Therefore, if Savea truly joins the Crusaders, I believe it should be seen as a professional decision. Yet, I understand fans' feelings. Sports are not just logical, they are emotional. Fans are deeply attached to team symbols. They want to see familiar faces fighting for familiar colors. When a symbol leaves, disappointment is inevitable. But perhaps the beauty of sports also lies in these changes. Old generations give way to new ones. New journeys begin.
I particularly notice the detail of Leicester Fainga'anuku being tested in a different position. This shows how modern rugby is evolving. Players are no longer rigidly confined to traditional positions. The game is faster, tactics are more flexible, and physical demands are increasingly intense. Players who can switch roles are becoming valuable assets. This trend also reflects the modern world. Not only in sports, but in education, technology, and business, those who can continuously learn have an advantage. Someone adaptable will survive better than someone reliant on their old comfort zone. This makes me realize that personal development should not stop at a single skill. We must learn to be flexible, open, and ready to change. Another point that impresses me is how experts discuss Savea with great respect. They don't talk about him as a mere transfer commodity, but as a player capable of impacting an entire tactical system. This shows that an athlete's true value is not in media fame, but in real influence on the team.
In today's society, Too many chase glamorous images and forget core values. A person earns long-term respect not because they are the most famous, but because they create the most positive impact. Ardie Savea is highly regarded for his fighting spirit, leadership, and resilience over many years, values that cannot be manufactured by media alone. I also believe fans can learn a lot from how professional athletes handle pressure. In elite environments, every decision is scrutinized. Just a few poor performances can lead to massive criticism, yet they must keep training, fighting, and maintaining mental stability. This requires extraordinary psychological strength. Today, social media intensifies this pressure. Celebrities are constantly judged, often by those who don't know the full story. Thus, I think fans should try to view sports more fairly and humanely. We can love our team, but we should not turn that love into extremism or personal attacks.
Professional sports also clearly mirror life's competitive nature. A team must always plan for the future. It cannot rely solely on emotion. The Crusaders' considering Savea is strategically sound. Big teams always look to upgrade their roster to remain competitive. This can make sports seem cold, but competition is precisely what drives top-level performance. Competition pushes people to grow. A player must constantly improve to maintain their place. A team must innovate to survive. A person must keep learning to avoid falling behind. The most dangerous thing is not failure, but complacency. I often reflect on the concept of legacy. A great player is remembered not just for titles, but for how they inspire future generations. Ardie Savea is the type of athlete young people can learn from, fiercely competitive, unafraid of contact, always giving their all, and maintaining leadership. Regardless of which team he plays for in the future, these values remain intact. For me personally, the greatest lesson is to always be prepared for change.
We shouldn't rely too much on current stability, as everything can shift quickly. What matters most is maintaining capability, a learning mindset, and resilience to adapt to new circumstances. I've also learned that sometimes leaving familiar ground is not the end, but the beginning of a different journey. Many fear change because of lost security. But change allows people to discover new capabilities. If Savea truly moves to another team, it may not be a betrayal of the past, but the next step in his career journey. For fans, I believe the most important thing is to maintain respect for the player, regardless of their choices. Fans have the right to feel sadness, regret, or disagreement. But they should also understand that athletes are human, carrying immense pressure and responsibility. Sports are most beautiful when they inspire unity, not hatred. In a constantly changing world, the most valuable thing may not be staying in one place, but preserving the courage to move forward regardless of circumstances. Sports, therefore, are not just about wins and losses. They are lessons in resilience, adaptability, teamwork, and how humans navigate the fluctuations of life. Thank you all for accompanying us. Sports teach us to adapt, be resilient, and always move forward.